Well, hey, you guys! Thanks for joining us. It's time for another one of these live streams on Wednesday night. Hey, if you haven't ever joined us here in Zoom and you want to, you should just click on the link in the Facebook group. I always put the link in there, and you just click on it and come on in, and I'll let you into the group, and you can join us for the discussion. Um, it's a lot of fun, and we like having, fresh ideas and points of view in here. So it's not always the same, old guys in here. Not that we're old or anything, but, usual guys. But anyway,
experienced veterans.
yeah, experienced veterans,
There you go. Although I've seen a lot of guys post with, some new blood there and some pretty nice looking jobs across the country.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, guys are out there doing some great work, and it's getting close to the holidays now, and I don't know about you, but like around here, everybody's like really in a big hurry to get everything done.
Yep.
I got a text from a contractor that I do work for, like this afternoon, saying, "Oh yeah, can you go over and measure this job? And we're hoping to get it done by Christmas." I didn't even bother to respond. He's like, "Yeah, it's probably
Not going to happen."
yeah, it's probably overly optimistic or something like that." Like,
yeah, I mean,
I'm
we're
thinking, yeah, that's pretty optimistic.
Yeah, mid to late January already. So kind of is what it is. This year, it's been a little easier to deal with folks on the time frame because everybody's dealing with it kind of in every trade, every time they're trying to buy Christmas presents and they can't get them. So people are a little more understanding. At least most are a little more understanding.
Yeah. So I mean, at this point, it's like we're looking at next year. For
How soon are your suppliers turning it around, Chris? Like if you ordered glass today, when would you expect delivery of it?
I'm getting them turned around really quick. I mean, within just a few days.
Okay.
So I mean, I could order something today, have it early next week, for the most part. I mean, with the exception of whatever types of glass that just are not available anymore. Like I think 3/8 rain right now is out of the question. I can't get 3/8 satin etched, but I can get Starfire satin etched.
Right. Low iron. Yep.
Yep. So yeah, so if people are asking for that, I'm like, well, this is what I can get. It's like it's pricey.
It's pricey. It's much nicer though. There's a lot less green to it, especially if you're doing multiple panels. It's actually a nice product.
Yeah, I agree. It looks really sweet. It's got that nice, really frosty look to it. Whereas with the regular clear glass, I mean, you can really see the green. That satin etch really brings it out.
Sure.
So yeah, there's that. But
what do you got for a topic?
Well, last week towards the end of our conversation, the topic came up about doing installations in fiberglass or acrylic surrounds, and what are the possibilities of doing frameless shower enclosures and those types of situations. So we talked about that for a minute, but someone also suggested the topic of, do you get any kind of a gift or like premiums for your general contractors that you work with, for like kind of Christmas gifts? You do anything like that?
Do we get them or give them?
Give them.
Yeah. Donna is really crafty, so she makes up these holiday baskets every year. And so I think we made about 15 or 20, and Keith goes around and he delivers them, shoots a video. Yeah. Matter of fact, I think he's delivering 8 or 10 tomorrow. Yeah.
So now, are those just for your contractors?
Yes. Yeah. The ones that give us business year round. Yeah.
So how many do you end up putting together?
I think she did 22 this year.
Wow.
It's not every contractor. It's the key ones that are giving you multiple jobs over time, really key contracts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every customer is key, right? But when you look at the 80-20 rule, you got to take a look at who's giving you, out of the contractors, who's giving you so much. Yeah. So yeah, I think she made up 22, and they're really neat baskets. Her and I go out and shop for stuff, and it's everything between wine glasses, a bottle of wine, some cheeses. Usually give a squeegee and a towel that have our logo on it. A couple of shower products, and you put them in there. And then we cut some ornaments with the water jet so they can use it as a holiday ornament also.
Cool. So like kind of a whole variety of things, little
Yeah.
wine, little cheese, little like
Chocolates.
Chocolates.
Yep. And of course, to be able to do that, you have to go to a place like the Biltmore and take a wine and chocolate pairing class. That's a business expense. So you learn which chocolates pair up better with which wine to give out. It's very important to do that.
Absolutely. It's a very important part of the shower door business, is being able to pair your wines and cheeses, you know.
And treat your customers, of course, you know. It's all part of the job.
It is. Hey, in these modern days, you know, I mean, it's like all that stuff really matters, you know.
Seriously.
Customers are more sophisticated than they were, you know, in decades past.
So the beauty of it is you give them that, and they think, and say, this is coming from a shower door guy. We say, well, it used to be just a shower door guy, but now we do more wine closets than most glass shops. So that's why the wine emphasis is so good.
Right.
Almost all new home builders of the higher end homes, they're designing at least one wine closet per house. So it's a whole nother stream of revenue to contractors you've already done, you know, and you don't have to worry about leakage.
That's right.
Yeah.
So when you're doing these wine closets, how often are they concerned about like insulating glass or anything like that?
Okay, so most of them are I should say wine displays. So they're not refrigerated.
Right.
They're really like a showcase or a feature wall in a house, something that, you know, store the wine and make it look good. But there are those that they want to chill it, and then we have to get into insulated glass or laminated glass. And some of the laminated glass holds the condensation really well if they're not putting it in direct sunlight. So you got air conditioning and the cooling there, and if the sun outside is not shining directly on it, you don't get that condensation. They got to keep the humidity around 50%.
And is that the primary thing that you're concerned about, is just condensation in there?
Yeah, that, and obviously leakage. They want to hold temperature if they're refrigerating it. But again, with gaskets, seals, you can increase the pressure on the hinges and miter the glass to, if you're doing a swing door, you know, cut both panels on a 45 where they're in line, and then have the door rest right against the other panel with a gasket in between. Goes really nice.
So you make the doors so on the strikes are like are 45, so they actually,
not all the time, but sometimes, yeah. Sometimes you'll miter the panel, a back miter the door, so it's 45 on 45. Tighten the hinges to give you a higher pressure, and the door sits really nice on there. What you have to watch out for is bowing in the glass, just to make sure you have a nice seal all the way up. But if you use that closed cell black foam and you put it on the mitered edge, which is generally dark anyhow, people don't even notice it. It looks really nice. That was a trick Tom Whitaker taught me years ago, and it looks really good.
Wow.
Really
That's
good.
a new one. That's a new one for me.
That's sharp. But then, we're doing a lot of the sliding, like a Laguna, or even like our own MyGlide for shower displays too. You're sliding it open, and then we're buying the wine racks from a wholesaler. So we're selling that as part of the package. We're designing the wine racks also.
Wow. That's smart.
Why not? You're there anyhow.
Absolutely. Got me thinking.
Those are good projects,
Going to the wine closet business.
Yeah. Nice little specialty. And you meet some really neat people.
Yeah.
They're very eccentric with their wine.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the clientele I'm working with already, it's just kind of a more affluent customers. I have one customer I did a job for recently who's planning on building wine closet. So we're talking about it a little bit. But
think about all the customers you've done over the years. And same thing with Billy and Bob. All the customers you've done over, and then they've been happy with you. What other opportunities do you have to those same customers to sell other products? Well, the wine closet's a no-brainer. And you've already got their email and their contact info. You can send them a postcard. You can send an email postcard. Hey, we're now doing this. Show them a few pictures. But railing systems also, office partitions. A lot of people after COVID started working at home and they want an office partition made out of glass. So you do a Laguna door that separates the den from the rest of the house, or you do a gridscape, which looks really cool. Keith just posted on LinkedIn today a neat closet system they did in Sarasota. If you take a look at that one, it's really impressive. That was for an architect up there, but it came out awesome.
Yeah, nice. What are your thoughts, Billy? Do you do anything like that? Do you have like regular customers, contractors, builders, whatever do you give them a little Christmas gift at the end of the year?
So do we regularly? No. Because to be honest, I don't have enough people I was doing it for a few years. We were giving out Yeti cups with our logo on them, sending those to some of our main contractors. And we've done some various things over the years, but it's very inconsistent, to be honest, because I don't have anybody that manages it. We're just now getting enough hands on deck on the front end, so yeah, it's a great idea. I do get some, we get some from some of our, higher contracts. Some of our designers will send us stuff. I have an entire shelf of, wine and liquor bottles and stuff that gets sent to me every year at the office. I don't drink, so it gets put on a shelf as a trophy for the year. But I could do a better job at it. Right now I'm contemplating giving a little gift with every shower we sell, whether that be a logoed squeegee or a little, towel hook with our logo on it that goes on top of the frameless glass. So I've been playing with that a little bit. I've honestly just gotten to the point where I can start playing with some of those ideas rather than being on the road selling all day long. So yeah, it definitely creates that more, anytime you give somebody anything that they feel like they're not paying for, it creates a different type of relationship with them, whether they be a customer or a client, contractor, whoever. It's gonna kind of build that outside relationship, or that feeling of they gave me something, which is always good. So do we do a great job of it? No, but it is on kind of the docket for things we're working on to create a better interaction with each of our customers, as well as those who are spending money with us. So great idea. But we're not succeeding as much as we would like to, but being in here and listening to it gives you new ideas for things to use. Putting baskets together for those that are spending, a larger sum of this every year is a great idea. Sending Christmas cards out to people you build new relationships with is a great idea. So it's just building a different type of relationship, I think, is the key, where it's not just we did a job and you paid us. We're building that kind of, to be your kind of go-to. You have to do a little bit more, and especially now, whereas it used to be you did a job for somebody and that was enough. I can remember, I hear a story from my dad, who tells me about his father as well, who every year at Christmas, the guys who worked in our company would get them Christmas gifts because they were so appreciative of the job that they had with a secure company that gave them 40 hours of work every week or more. And I think a lot of that has flipped in today's time, where I'm thinking more, what gift am I going to give my employees to show them how much I appreciate what they're doing? I've never received a gift from any of my employees. A few of our salesmen will, give a gift card or something like that. We kind of reciprocate that back and forth, but never received an actual gift from any of my crews or anything like that. And it would be foreign to me, at 37. But my dad, who's in his late 60s, said it used to be a regular thing, that they would get gifts back from employees. So a lot of that has changed in the work atmosphere, where it's more telling others how much you appreciate them rather than reciprocating it as an owner or CEO of a business, and that's okay. It's a different way of looking at things. So it's something that we're definitely playing with. In regards to the wine room stuff, we're not doing a large number of them. We are doing them for our larger home builders. It's becoming more prevalent in our area as we get more people from Bill's area moving up here for their second and third homes. We've done several, monster ones the last few years, and we run into some of the same problems. I have seen more that are climate controlled in our area, and then we have the discussion over kind of like the water discussion. This is not an aquarium. It's not going to hold all the air. It's not going to hold all the water. It's not going to hold all the steam. I had that discussion today. And then we come back and play the battle of how much vinyl do you want to accommodate keeping more steam, keeping more water, keeping more air control, versus how sticky it's going to get, how much noise it's going to make. And those, it's kind of the same discussion, no matter if it's shower or steam or wine. It's just dealing with a different flow of water or air or whatever on the back end. So we're actually tearing out a unit that somebody else did right now in a new home. It was a heavy glass unit, and we're putting in an insulated kind of storefront system, just prettied up a little bit in somebody's house to control the temperature more for a contractor. So we're in the middle of doing that right now. So it's trying to create that understanding as much as possible on the front end, just like you do with a frameless shower with a wine room. We can make this more airtight, more watertight, but you've got to understand everything's going to get stickier. You're going to deal with that aesthetic of the vinyl. You're going to deal with the aesthetic of a foam, or you're going to deal with the aesthetic of more framing. We're going to go with a semi-frameless shower, or we're going to go with a more framed wine enclosure. So it's playing that battle, of trying to give the prettiest thing you can give, but also as functional as you can. So same thing, but we're not pushing it as much as we should, because again, typically bigger glass, and you have to be able to hold it, move it, install it, all that stuff. So
yeah, well put. Yeah, and how, even if you're gonna cool a wine room, how cool do you need to keep it? If your regular air conditioner is keeping the house at 75, or I don't know what people keep it at, what's it going to need to be, like 10 degrees cooler? So how do you cool that wine room? Is it just with the air conditioner, or are you just putting an air conditioning vent in there, or is there a separate thermostat in there?
Yeah, there's a separate system for them that's installed. If they're going to cool it, it's a whole, and I don't pretend to be a wine expert by any means, but there's an actual system that's installed in that space to circulate air and keep it at a certain temperature.
Yeah, Chris, just like you would have a steam room, you'd have your own steam generator, right? You wouldn't expect the central heating system to make a steam shower. So just as a generator would make a steam shower, there's a special air conditioning unit and humidity control in a wine closet, a chilled wine closet. But I tell you, we're still selling a lot of non-chilled So we call them displays or display cabinets, but they're pretty good size.
Yeah, I'm sure that probably the vast majority of them are just that, just
Yeah.
just a glass room, to kind of show your wine, whatever.
Right, right.
Christina's saying she thinks it's 65 degrees, maybe 55.
Yeah, she's right. That's about where they are. See, she probably knows all about wine.
Yeah, she's pretty smart. And then Dana Higginbotham is on here. He's saying he was saying something about most wine rooms are refrigerated, but they're only in the 50s,
Yeah.
or so. No real need for insulation. Yeah, that makes sense.
If you're using thick glass, if you're getting condensation, we found that just laminated glass stops a lot of the transfer of cold and heat just because of the barrier of the inner layer. But if you really want to do it right, then you get insulated panels, but boy, the cost shoots way up.
Some of our trouble, we don't have as much laminate being used up here as down in your area, Bill. So we have a lot of trouble getting the heavier lammy up here. And the cost is, drastic because of where it has to come out of. We did a museum job over, it was like a 2-year job. And we used I can't remember the name of it now. I actually didn't manage the project, but it was a 9/16 lammy that wouldn't carry any glare. So you could see straight through it. And it got shipped out of Miami up here to us because it was the only place we could access the product that was spec for this museum. So yeah, that's our only problem with lammy is we can get, quarter lammy when there's not a shortage of it without any problem, but we go heavier. Sometimes we have a little trouble because the manufacturers up here are just not doing a very high volume of it.
Yeah. For wine closets, we usually use 1/4 inch 060 inner layer and then 1/4 inch. So it measures a little heavier than 9/16.
Okay.
But it fits in most channels, or you can use that mechanical channel.
Yeah, I don't use, I know in other areas it's already code. I don't use any laminate like in railings yet or wine rooms, obviously not showers. We're not using laminate anywhere. We're just using 1/2 inch tempered in most applications. So we're not getting into it much.
I got one here in my home and it's just 1/2 inch tempered. It's fine, but it's not chilled. And it's a display because I drink very little. It's a display. It's a focal point.
It's just for looks.
Yeah.
Not really.
Sold two jobs just from having neighbors over for dinner. But they like the look of it.
That's a good marketing strategy right there. Just have your neighbors over for dinner.
I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago about that company Ventraza that you may see on television somewhere, but they make the glass chair mat for at your office desk. Instead of buying those plastic ones at Staples or Office Depot, all it is 1/4 inch tempered. That's it. 1/4 inch tempered. You can get a little radius edge on it, and it'll hold 1,000 pounds. Put it on a carpet and it'll last forever. If you put we use the Easy Care Shield on it. It makes it scratch resistant, but whatever you use for diamond fusion or anything like that, does a great job. And the chair just glides over it. And if you're using it on hardwood, you got to put the little plastic bumpers under it. You put about, depending on the size of your mat, anywhere from 9 to 12 little plastic bumpers and space it out. But those glass chair mats are what a great add-on to your business. I mean, it's very simple.
Yeah, they're so much nicer than that plastic mat. I mean, if you ever use one of those plastic mats, it's kind of hard to roll your chair around on it, and it's like when you get put down glass, it's just like so nice and smooth and sweet. So yeah.
Right, so I'll ask you a question. What do you think it would cost you to buy 1/4 inch tempered 48 by 48, so 16 square feet, and just softened edges? You polished all edges and then have them hit it with the sander and just bump the corners.
gosh, I don't know, probably $50.
Ventraz is selling them for $359. $359. And
Really?
they're selling them left and right. And their cost isn't even 50 because they're bringing in caseloads from China
Right.
already done. But look at the markup on that thing. Look at the markup. So I always say, if you've got one of those customers that are really trying to beat you up over the shower door and they've got a home office and they're a business person, say, let's settle on the shower door. I'll give you a gift that you'll be really happy with, a $350 value. Done deal. Then they'll end up ordering more of them.
That's smart.
Yeah, it's a good negotiating tool. Billy, you're looking out, giving out something to people for a holiday. There you go. Bringing about 50 of those glass chair mats.
Yeah, that's easy. And then you can just tell them, hey, come by and pick it up. I've got your Christmas gift here. Come by and pick it up.
Pick it up, bring a truck.
They'll give them a chance to come in and see, look at some stuff while they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just bought a small laser etching machine, so we can start, because I'm having trouble. I'm trying to get things embroidered, like keeping up with all of your staff shirts. And Bill and I talked a little bit about this when he was up, and getting stuff embroidered, getting patches done, getting hats done, getting shirts taken care of. Right now seems to be a bigger issue, like everything else, because everybody's so busy and people are having trouble getting stuff shipped in. So I've been looking at ways to handle it myself. I know, Bill, you had mentioned that Donna kind of runs the Cricut machine.
Yeah.
Vinyl stuff, so I've been looking at options for handling some of that myself, because I'm constantly recreating things, wanting to get things etched with our logo or other folks' logo, so we can give handouts and advertising, small items. We've looked at an embroidery machine just to, so we can do our own shirts and hats and keep that rolling all the time, rather than having to buy in bulk and then wait 2 or 3 months for it to get done and get to us. And, so I'm always looking at easier, faster ways to do it. You got to have a really good wife or somebody, in the business that has a little downtime or something like that. But yeah, I'm always playing with that. I just got a small laser etching machine to test it out. Not a heavy investment, but if I can put our logo on items, then yeah, it's a handout. But it's always I want as many eyeballs to see my logo as many times as possible. Whether that's in the shower, on the road, on a sign, wherever, on a football field at the local high school, wherever that's at. I want my logo to kind of be imprinted in people's head. And the more small things you give out that aren't business cards, because business cards a lot of times just get tossed. Those hard items that people will hang on to is kind of where I'm headed in my marketing, handouts, give outs, gifts, that kind of thing over the next year. It's kind of a top tier item in the 2022 things to do kind of deal. So it's sitting in my garage right now, waiting to be unpackaged and let me play with it. But I'm waiting for a couple of days off of Christmas to get it out. So
I'll tell you a really neat story. So this year, you probably know, I posted this thing that I got involved with the local high school that has a business and marketing department. And we did the Wolf Den, which is the Shark Tank knockoff. And we invested in this girl that makes candles. So if you're setting up a shower for somebody that's a spa-like experience, a candle goes perfectly. So we get some scented candles made, and then we tell her, either you give it to us in the jar that's blank and Donna will etch our logo on it, or you can make up the lids, the covers to it with our logo on it. We give it out, and it's a really nice scent. She's got like a copper tone scent. Then for the holidays, it's a pine Christmas scent, which is really nice. And those are inexpensive handouts. And the women go crazy over the candles. Absolutely love them. That's probably our #1 favorite handout. You give somebody a candle, other than wine.
Bill, do you guys do any like stickers, like your logo on stickers? Do you purchase those somebody else, or what do you do on those?
My sign company makes them up. My sign company, they just put a sheet in their printer and they print them up. We put them on our iPads. You look at our salesman, almost everything has logo on him. His bag that he carries in, the tools, the display case, everything has that logo.
Yep. That's something that's been kind of burning in my head.
You got it.
I've moved sign companies a few times because of wrap issues on vehicles.
Yeah.
Not getting kind of the product that we're looking for. So we've moved a few times, but yeah, that's stickers are an easy item. Everybody loves stickers. I love stickers personally. So that's one thing I've been looking at is, can I print them myself? Do I get a small, little, adhesive printer, or is it easier just to let, the local sign folks that are doing our wraps do it? Probably easier to let them do it, but I'm always, tinkering with ways I can do stuff myself. I'm a less inventive tinkerer than Chris.
The thing is, you got Kelly sitting in the office there, and if she's got some downtime, I mean, what would it take for her to, type it out, put it up on the screen, and let it print, and then she goes back to her work. When it's done, it comes out on a sheet. Just give you the sheet.
Yep.
Put the stickers on anything you want. Now, stickers are really good. That Cricut machine that Donna does can also cut stencil, same material, and it cuts out the middle. And she uses that as a stencil, and she goes to the art shop, I guess. Let's say like a Joann's or a AC Moore, and buys this jar of acid. It's like a gel, and you put it on glasses, and then you can put the company initial, your logo, a snowflake, whatever you want, right on the wine glass. You just put the stencil on there, let the acid work its thing for 15, 20 minutes, rinse it off, and you're good to go.
So this Cricut machine does this stuff?
Oh yeah, it's amazing. It's a miniature CNC machine is what it is, and it cuts out all the stuff for you. She's really good at it. Really good at it.
So it's like a plotter for vinyl, right?
Yeah, yeah. And you buy these rolls and you put it in so you can change the color of whatever you want. Or if you're using it for stencil, you can just get a cheap vinyl that's adhesive, put it on whatever product you want to paint or stain or etch. And then just, they make that, it's like a gel type acid. You've seen guys probably do your auto windshields with an identification code. They'll put a stencil on it and they'll just wipe this foam on it, let it stay there for about 5 minutes, and it just etches in ever so slightly.
It on laminated glass when we need to, do a laminated sticker.
Yeah, there you go.
Like a tempered sticker to prove that it is safety glass. We will do it on there.
We've done the same thing on our tempered glass, where when we've installed it, the logo ended up being inside the hinge plate, and the building inspector wants to see the thing, and we'll go back out and then place our stencil and etch the glass, because the code says it must permanently be affixed. So, some guys just paint it on, but no, we etch it in.
Hey, this wonderful Donna lady you're talking about, tell her if she's tired of working where she's working now, I know a glass company that would bring her in. No problem.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're talking about doing that, actually, as the boys run the business and we get some more time. Like, I enjoy going around the country and traveling, but that would be so cool to be like a outside consultant to any glass shop that's looking for things like that, how to increase their visibility. Thing is, right now, I don't think anybody needs it. Everybody is busy, and it's only putting gas on the flame by doing that. But it's not going to stay like this forever. There will be a time that you need to market. And if you're making the money now, you can make those investments in the Cricut machine and those other things so that when it's slow, you've already got your money. And what the heck, if you made a lot of money this year, you're only going to pay it in taxes. So why not invest back in your business? Buy a good vehicle, buy this, buy that. Basically, the government's paying for it for you because it's less money you pay in taxes.
There you go. Rather the government didn't get it myself.
Yeah, they didn't help me install anything this year.
No, not at all.
Not one. They didn't unload a truck. They didn't order anything. They didn't work overtime. No,
That's
agree.
a fact. And the truth is, it's like once you need the work, it's really too late to start marketing, right?
That's exactly right.
You have to start marketing before you need the work. So while it's busy, I mean, people make that mistake of they stop their marketing. It's like, oh, I'm busy. I don't really need to market anymore. Yeah, but you need to be planting the seeds for when, you are going to need that work. And so,
Hiring is the same thing. It's some days I feel like I need 10 people, and some days I want to get rid of 10 people. But I don't want to be looking when there's nobody. I'd say there's nobody right now, but you always want to have hands. Even when things are slower.
Yeah.
It's obviously a better thing than not having them. That's for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, Christine also mentioned that for gifts for like her employees, they were doing like laser engraved reusable, coffee cups, lunch boxes. So like, yeah, right along those same lines. If you get a laser engraver or something, you can kind of make your own gifts, and give them to your customers, your employees. Um, we
Tell
always,
Christina we've got some. Yeah, Billy's got those tumblers. Were really nice. Those things are great. But we've got these latte cups, and there's websites you can get them very cheap. You can get caseloads of them blank, and then you just buy the stencil thing. It heats it up and embellishes it. Hello, Christina.
Hi, sorry, I just got home, so I'm trying to make dinner and stuff, but I'm listening. This is all very interesting.
Cool. Now, anybody that's into marketing, we were just talking about right now, you're probably not considering marketing because you're so darn busy, but and like Chris said, if you wait until you're slow and you start marketing, you've lost it. You're too far behind the curve. So you got to keep active and keep the company name out there. So those type of giveaways are really good.
yeah, if the phone's ringing and you're so busy that you can't really do all the work, you can kind of cherry pick, or you can kind of like price yourself, a little higher. I mean, you can manage too much traffic, right? But it's like it's hard to manage not enough traffic, so to keep that flow of traffic coming in, even though you don't really need it, is really a smart idea. I know
Yeah.
for us, it's like I'm been really fortunate because I really get to kind of take my pick of what I want. Kind of like, yeah, kind of just pick the plums and stuff, because we're in demand. It's busy out there. People want us to do their work, and so I don't have to take every job that comes in, or I can just kind of price things a little bit more sweeter, or whatever. And then, if things slow down and I have to take that repair job that I wouldn't normally want to take, it's there for me. So,
Yeah, I listened to last week's thing, and you guys were talking about doing service calls and taking outdoors so people can replace tiles and reinstalling it. And of everybody that was talking, Billy's has really hit home. He says, look, we're in the business of making money. And if I can do it and make money and it's not going to goof up my other schedule, I'm going to do it, because that's your foot in the door for other opportunities. The guy's going to like you. Then you'll get a wine closet or a glass railing, or it'll lead to something else. So instead of just saying no, which I think is the first impulse we all have, if you can fit it in and you look at the schedule and it's conveniently there, by all means, I would do it. Yeah.
right. And if you can't do it, having a network, I mean, working with other people that you can refer is great.
Yes.
And not being so competitive, that you can't refer somebody else, that you might view as a competitor, is really a smart idea to make strategic alliances with other companies, that are nearby, and if there's somebody who does work that you don't like to do, and you're doing work that they don't like to do, or they're not really quite capable of doing, or they don't feel comfortable doing. You can
Sure.
make an alliance like that, right? And then they'll send you customers, you send them customers, and it's a good deal.
Yeah, like us, we don't want to do any mirrors, so we'll give that. But we did it for a while until the guy that we were giving mirrors to decided to say, "Hey, I can do a shower door on there." And wait a minute, buddy, now you're biting off the hand that was feeding you. It doesn't work that way, or it's not supposed to work that way.
You know, Chris, it's funny you say that. Today, I went to a job site to measure some railing panels for a buddy of mine who's a GC, and pulled around the corner going down the street, and there was a glass truck sitting close to that house, and we're putting a shower in. I was like, oh, my guys must be there putting the shower in. Turns out it was another contractor at the house beside him, and it was a kind of an older, rough looking glass truck. I'd seen it around town, but never knew who it was. So I just walked over to the other house and found out it was an older gentleman. He had worked with a bunch of guys that work with us. If you're in a smaller town, even probably in some bigger towns, most of the glass guys know each other, especially, once you get past a certain age. And he's an older guy. He doesn't have very many, I think him and another guy working. And I despise residential windows. I hate fixing them. We've had this discussion before. We've pretty much stopped doing them because I don't have crews that really know how to do it. But this guy likes to do it. He's been doing it for 30 years. And I said, hey, man, give me some cards. I can give you more than you can get done. And he's in my town, and he does showers, yes, but he runs a completely different business than I do. So if somebody wants him to do their shower, it's going to be an older contractor that he has a relationship with, or it's going to be a different customer than is going to buy a shower from me. And I understand that. And I think he understands that. First time I've ever met the gentleman. He knows my father and some of the older salesmen that are around. But so I got his card, and I told him, I'll give your name out. That's fine with me because I don't want to do that work. And that's what you just said. It's kind of crazy that happened today. But yeah, creating that, this is new to me because I grew up in an atmosphere where it was like, no, we don't talk to any of those people. We don't give them any information. They're out there stealing our work. Well, there's a lot of work to go around, and there's a lot of work that I don't want to do in my industry. Or I don't have the right guys to do it. And I don't want to tell somebody I'm going to and then go screw it up trying to do it. So it's funny you say that. It happened to me today. And I've gotten to know this gentleman. He's a good bit older than me, but he likes to go to houses and fix small windows. Hey, I can give him, 30 or 40 of them a week if he wants them. So it is key to understand, it's okay to spread some of that wealth around, especially if it doesn't fit your trajectory of what you're doing.
So Chris, I'd like to be able to parlay off of that.
Absolutely.
Idea of strategic partnerships. We've had different situations over the years where you drill in a wall and you hit a pipe and you got a pipe explode. You drill in and it's a crucial job and a tile cracks. And we're not tile guys.
Happened today.
So we've got lists of other types of subcontractors. To give you an example, an emergency electrician, you've drilled in a wall and you hit a wire. A plumber, somebody that'll be on call to, in case these situations happen. A tile guy, a flooring guy, a screen door guy. Sometimes our guys are carrying glass in and the screen door closes or the wind hits it and it closes quick and you rip the screen accidentally. It hits the corner of the glass. We've got a list of about 15 different types of subs that we can call when problems arise. And it's really good to have that. I mean, everything from a tow truck in case your truck breaks down to who could put a tire on quickly for you if you have that problem. I'm just trying to think of all the different things that we've run across over the years, and I've got these little fixers for it.
Yeah, someone who can fix the enamel on a tub.
Yes,
chipped.
That's at the top of the list. Yes, fiberglass repair, tub repair. Yeah, say plumber, flooring guy, electrician, painter, sheetrocker, somebody that had to put a stud behind the wall to support the weight for whatever reason. So a handyman, carpenter, all these guys that can do jobs within a 24-hour notice. So when you're in a bind, really important to have. But the more you have of those are guys that are going to recommend you. So they're like putting salesmen on the road for you.
That's
Grout.
exactly right.
Grout guys are the best.
Grout, yes, yes.
We get so many leads from Grout guys. I don't think they ever like save our butts in a situation, but we get a lot of leads from Grout guys.
Yeah, and conversely, if you're out doing the sales and you see that the shower's kind of cruddy and say, I know you're putting a lot of money into this new door, why don't you call this guy and he's going to make your grout look like new? He'll be very appreciative, and then you'll probably get a lot more out of it.
So where do you find a grout guy? Are you talking just a tile guy that does grout work, or you have specific guys that do grout work?
We've got a lot of guys, Christine, don't you also?
Grout master, grout. I think there's a grout guru. There's Mr. Grout. I mean, there's all of it. Same as shower doors. Pick any of our names, and you've got that with grout.
Yeah,
I'll have to look
Billy.
around. I've never seen one here.
Billy, do you have a magazine called The Home Mag in your area?
I think we have a version of a WNC home or something like that.
Usually go there, and there's a lot of subcontractors that advertise pavers, air conditioning guy, everything, you name it. You'll probably see 3 or 4 different companies specializing grout and grout sealing. So not only cleaning it or regrouting, they'll also seal it. Really good contacts, really good contacts.
Yeah, guys that can do recaulking. I
Yeah.
mean, it's hard to make money doing that. If you've got to pay glazers to go out and cut out caulk and put it back in, I mean, it's going to be hard to make money on that. But if you've got a guy who you can refer for that, it's great. And I'll tell you, I mean, it's way better than saying no to a customer. When a customer calls and says, "Oh, do you do this?" and you don't do it,
Oh, but I got a guy.
Yeah, right. It sucks to say no, but if it's like, "Oh, I know somebody," if you can refer somebody, you've actually said yes. You've actually served that customer. And, and there's an opportunity to get a little referral on that if you want to work something like that out, to get a little kickback or something. I don't do that. I just I don't charge a fee for absolutely everything I do. But I know that it always comes back around. If I can send work somebody's way, they really appreciate it. A lot of times more than I really expect them to. Sometimes people come back, they're like, "Man, you don't know how much it means to me that you're sending me this work." Because sometimes, man, they're hurting, and I don't even think about it. I think of it as like, "Hey, you're doing me a favor by taking care of this customer that I had to say no to." So yeah, there are opportunities to make a little money on that probably too, or you can just spread the wealth around.
One of the other great contacts are these cleaning services, home cleaners that go in. They have to squeegee down that shower door all the time, and they know the ones that leak, and they can tell you. And they're prime customers because if the customer can afford a cleaning person to come in, they're going to be very conscientious about their shower door. They're the right customer for us. So that's
a great
another
idea.
good service to connect with, is those home cleaners. Christina, one of the other ones we did, I don't know how many gated communities you have in your area, but I talked about this before. Those guards at the gated communities become a concierge service. People live in gated communities, go up to the guards all the time and they say, "Hey, what company comes in here most to do shower doors or to do paint or whatever?" And those guys, you just got to leave your cards at the front gate and they give them out left and right.
Yeah, it's incredible. I know most people don't like doing high-rise buildings, but once you know where to park and how to get into a high-rise building, it's not a big deal. So if you've done a couple in a high-rise building and you want to keep doing that building, also those people at the front desk, they're great. Same concept. And I got that from you, and I handed a stack of cards to one of the front desk concierge people, and hopefully something will come of it.
It'll come when it's ready. A lot of those high rises, they have these corkboard bulletin boards right next to the elevator, and that's where they announce Christmas parties, whatever's going on. And some of them will let you pin your card right there, and they have a section for services.
One of our guys puts a card out at coffee shops that he stops at throughout the day. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, there's grocery stores that have it as a free service. Like girls that want to do babysitting, they make this little sheet and little tear-offs on the bottom of their phone number. But you can pin your cards up there or put a little brochure in there, and they're all free advertising.
Yeah, it's interesting. We don't have a whole lot of high rises around here, but I got a call, I don't know, a few months back from this high-end condo building down in Pacific Grove, kind of down in the Carmel or Monterey. Yeah, more like Monterey area. Nice place, and it's like, they called me and I bid it. I kind of bid a little high because it's like I really wasn't that interested in doing it. But then I got the job, so I had to actually do it. So I went down there, and what I did is I have one of those carts, one of those plastic push carts that I never use because what would you use it for, right? But this is what you'd use it for. So I threw that in the back of my truck and went down there and just loaded that up with everything that I needed. So I was able to just get everything, all of my tools up with that cart, and then my glass on a glazer saver, So I was able to, kind of roll it up in my glazer saver and a cart. And actually, it wasn't that bad to do it. Just go up to the third floor, do the job, and it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. And then, I got a call from the neighbor. Neighbor wanted me to come up and, the same place. So now I've been back to that place, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. And kind of like what Christina was saying, I mean, once you've done it, and you kind of figure out how to work the parking and how to make it manageable, then it's a known quantity, and it's like, okay, well, I know I can get there in this much time. I know that I can get this done, and this is how you get in, this is how you get out. It's really not that bad. So it's a nice place, and I've done a few up there now.
Speaking of the marketing and everything in the high-rise buildings, I'm trying to break into more of Midtown Atlanta because I live in Midtown, and we do a lot more work in the suburbs. How would you guys, or have you guys approached a new market for your marketing?
Explain what you mean by approach a new market.
Yeah, so if we're trying to break into in the perimeter of Atlanta more. It's probably 8 to 10% of our business right now. Not very much.
A new area, you mean, kind of like a
new market for shower doors. So what sources would you look at first? Print, TV, radio? What do you guys look at for marketing if you're trying to open up a new territory?
So take this with a grain of salt coming from the guy that doesn't market. But I've been looking into it more and listening a lot to other people. In my opinion, Google is the whole key. Now, given there are other outlets, there are other ways to go, but I would think that the demographic living in the same area you are. Now, I don't live in a large metropolis. So again, just giving my opinion here. But I would think the demographic is probably very similar to you, young professionals that still want to live in town. Now, there's going to be outliers in either direction, but it's probably going to be similar to your demographic. So I think we're probably close to the same age. I'm not picking up many things that I'm purchasing that are higher end from TV or paper advertising or anything like that. Me personally, I'm going to go to other contractors because that's the business I'm in. But if I'm looking for something that doesn't really fall in my bubble, I'm going to Google, and that's where I'm going to start with everything that I'm doing. I'm going to look at reviews. I'm going to look at past history or past work that they've done, areas that they have expertise in. But I'm going to start at Google, and that's Google Ads, which you can set you can set a boundary You can set a demographic. You can set all kinds of criteria in that advertising. And you may already know this. I may be throwing out information that you already have, but that's where I would go first if I'm going to a new area, because one, you're going to hit your target market, I think, a lot easier that way, rather than kind of throwing a larger net and hoping it hits that target market. You can tie it to things that are already being searched for. You can tie it to certain age groups. You can tie it to certain demographics inside of a certain, Google Map space. So to me, that's the best route to go. But again, I don't branch out on advertising very much. But I'm thinking you're trying to hit a demographic similar to you, a young professional who can afford your product in your area. So where would you look first would be the question that I would ask.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point. It would probably be Google, or if they're doing a larger renovation, like their contractor. So both of those are great. I'm worried about Google Ads though, because they're so darn expensive.
Well,
Have you
you're
guys
paying per click. You are paying, like most of them you're paying when you get hit. So not all hits are going to make you money, but at least you're not paying just for it existing is the kind of the look I take on it. But you're right about that 100%.
So Christina, the other way is to give you awareness is to do things that give you awareness. For instance, create videos, put them on YouTube. YouTube's the #2 search engine, right? But people, if they see you and trust you and know you, they will do business with you. They'll want to do business with you. So put out as much content on YouTube as possible. But your website has to be tight, so when they do look you up, they have an opportunity to fill out a form, get an estimate, contact you in some way, and then be diligent on getting back to them quickly. But in a new market, YouTube is good. Billy's right, absolutely, with Google. Those apps that are called Nextdoor, which are really good for certain communities. So zero in on, take your 80-20 rule, and where is 80% of your business coming? If it's coming from Midtown, get on a Nextdoor group in that area, and then you can really target market, but get your name out there.
That's a good idea. Do you guys do any advertising on Nextdoor? I feel like
I've got a meeting with them Friday, I think. That'll be our 3rd meeting. I am trying to set that up. Yes.
Okay. I'm wondering, I've been told, and I don't want to poo-poo the idea of you advertising with them, but I've just been told that most people who go to Nextdoor are looking for referrals and not ads. And so that's kind of the idea behind it. So it's just private, and otherwise, I mean, usually people go on Nextdoor to look for something, so it's still important, Yeah,
you're going into a new market. You want to get your name out there. People like that Nextdoor app. There's not a lot of arguing and bickering back and forth. Get yourself a few customers that might give you a referral that you can put on there. That's what they want, is they want to hear from somebody else that had it done. But the marketing is good there because ADT and Ring, they're constantly advertising there. There's got to be a reason why they're staying on there so much. It's got to work for them.
On an unrelated note, kind of a throwback to the wine cellars. I know we're over time, but really fast question. LED mirrors, do you guys install those?
Not us. We don't.
Okay.
I have, but the tricky part about those is you have to have an electrician, to really, unless you want to have like a cord hanging down out, and plugging into the wall. So, I mean, you have to be able to coordinate, either have an electrician on staff or coordinate,
Okay. Yeah.
We don't market them. We supply them, we install them. Some of them we make. We'll glue a plywood board on the back and make a cleat and hang it. And their electrician will have put the outlet in there and string the lights around, and we're just hanging a mirror on the designated spot. But we'll do prep work for that. If we don't make a cleat on the back, then we'll do holds and we'll do standoffs and just mount it with standoffs. And that works too.
We this falls in the same realm as like grid showers and things like that for us. So it's got to be the right customer. It's got to be the right price. And then we've built massive ones. I mean, I've used, I've done, 8 feet long by 6 foot tall LED backlights, but they're hung with, 2x6s and all. I mean, it's a whole thing. So it's just like a grid shower. If you're going to do it, you have to set your number, and it's just hard that if you want us to do this, this is what it takes. But the ones you would like purchase on like Amazon or something like that, we haven't messed with those. The electrician can probably hang it just as well as we can, and I'm going to charge more for it. So we haven't. I want to tag something real quick, Chris. I know we're over again. But,
That's all right.
I want to throw this out there to other guys because it's the same folks on here every week, and I know people probably get tired of hearing us. And want to, but
No,
they may not.
They never get tired of us. They love it.
I know people get tired of hearing me. I get told regularly. But I would love to hear ideas that people just throw out there. So if you make a post on the page, tell us what we suck at doing. Here, what are you tired of hearing about? What do you want to hear more about? Give us some feedback as well as ideas. Some people just don't want to get on the camera and talk. I was there initially. And then you just kind of get to the point where you don't worry about it. It is what it is. But, I would like to hear there's so many people in the group and a lot of people that post. So I know they're on the group regularly and they may not want to get on here and talk, or it just may be late. Like I have to send my crew upstairs at this time of the night. But I would love to hear from more people about, what do you like hearing about? What are you tired of hearing about? What are we good at? What do you not like? That kind of thing. Just, give some, if you're not going to get on, because we're kind of low in numbers the last couple of weeks, give us some info. Give us something to work with if you want to talk about it, or tell us if it's horrible and you don't want to hear from us anymore or something. So just throwing that out there before, if anybody makes it to this part of the video, if they stick in this long.
If you're still listening.
If you're still listening out there, don't fast forward like all the YouTubers say, and you're still there. I would love to hear. I have no problem. I know I say dumb stuff and so all the time, so you're not going to hurt my feelings. But I like to hear a little feedback. What do you like to hear about? What do you want to hear more of? I like that. Give us a thumbs up. That's something I never say, Or a thumbs down.
Like this, go ahead and share this. I mean, I never say that, but I probably should, because just to remind you, go ahead and like this, or share it. Tell someone, that might be interested. If you're listening on the podcast or if you're watching the YouTube video, share it with your friends. And yes, thanks, Billy, for asking that, because we do want to know, like, what topics do you want to talk about? We cover a lot of different stuff. Sometimes we cover the same stuff, but we're definitely interested in hearing whatever your suggestions are for what we could cover.
So. Nobody has a problem giving opinions on showers when you post them in there. I can promise you that. So why not get the same?
There's some mean responses in there. I was like, oof.
Oh yeah, and we kick out the meanest ones. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, we don't let people get any meaner than that. So the real trolls have been kicked out of the group. So yeah, those are just the friendly ones that you can. So we got opinions.
Statement. That's a true statement, Chris.
If you don't like this opinion, I've got other ones. So keep coming back. All right, everybody. I'm starving. I think I got some shrimp nachos waiting for me.
Ooh.
I'm going for that.
Good for you.
Thanks, you guys.
Are we doing next week?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, we'll just keep going on through the holidays. This is in the middle of the week. Christmas and New Year's are both on Saturday this year, so Wednesday's far enough away to where I think we'll almost want to come and do this, just to get away from the relatives or whatever.
I'll get all the in-laws on the Zoom call. And
get them all on. I want a big drunk group of people.
I would love next week to talk about, speaking of feedback, I would love next week to talk about what gifts you are giving your employees, if you are, what vacation days you give your employees, or calendar you abide by for that if you do. And there was one other thing that I can't remember now. Oh, what year-end KPIs do you look at for your business to plan for the next year.
Wow, that's good
KPIs,
stuff.
Key performance indicator.
key performance indicators. Like
Net
it. Okay.
profit, net profit, gross profit, number of turns of your inventory, things like that.
You guys look at that kind of stuff and keep up with it. And
You need to. You should. You should.
That's what we're-
QuickBooks, my
That's what
dear.
we're going to talk about next week. What Christina
Perfect.
said.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's what you say. Yes, ma'am. That's what we're talking about. Good.
Yes,
Come with-
ma'am.
Be prepared with your numbers, Billy.
We'll compare notes. I'm just kidding. Please don't look at our financials.
You can share as much or as little as you want.
All right. Well, good night, Chris. Good night, everybody.
Good night, you
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Thanks.